Hey Ashley, I really appreciate when a writer does the homework that I give them from their video critiques. And of course, this is Jesse instead of Diablo, but you're going to do it on all your horses. So you opted to set it up with the cones, which is great. One suggestion I will make, and I think it might be wrong on my diagram because sometimes things happen like that. So I'm not sure how many walking steps you did from the center cone to these cones, but it looks like you're cutting that really tight. So try to do 6 walking steps for the first cones, and then you only need to do 4 walking steps for the second set of cones. And that way it makes the small circle a 10-foot circle. It should stay between 10 and 15, and then the medium, whatever size you have room for, and the large, of course, is about like the size of a round pen. So it could be anywhere from 60 to 80, depending on what you have, and then maybe, 40 or 50, and then down to, 10 to 20, just depend on where your horse is at. So you opted to do 2 large, 2 mediums, and 2 smalls. If the smalls are so small that it makes them trot, go ahead and move the cones and give yourself a little more room. So, but as you notice, when you get smaller, you'll sit deeper on your pockets. You rode really pretty, and then you'll want to drive more with your outside leg. So I'm going to put it in slow motion for a moment. And while you're doing this, you want to feel front and back feet on the same tracks, but you also want to feel that your inside hand and leg can keep the nose guiding in just where you see eye or nostril, not the whole head. And you can keep that shoulder picked up with your inside hand, and your inside leg will keep the ribs out. So see right there how he struggled right there? It was no longer a circle. I think had you had this a tick bigger, he could have kept that rounder there. So use more outside leg, give him an extra foot or two for cone placement on the small. But once you got him in here, I can see your outside leg on him. And then he's able to keep his front and back feet on the same tracks. If anywhere he quits, you have to smooch more. I would only do one of the small if the horse isn't that fit, but you'll see he breaks to a trot here. So that tells me either the ground's so heavy it's too hard for him, or the circle's too small for him. So go ahead and move your cones out for 2 more steps, and you want to be able to keep a canter. So you go large, medium, small, medium, large, stop, pet, and then roll back, and then go the other way. So it also allows you to work on your loose rein whoa and your rollbacks as well. So always roll back the opposite way. And again, we want to spiral down to a lope instead of a trot. So I think if you'll move your cones out just about, I don't know, 24 inches, 2 more feet, you'll make that small circle a little easier on them. And if your horse isn't fit, you only have to do 1 large, 1 medium, 1 small. The most I would ever do is 2 of each and then go back out, because basically it's 3 down and 3 back out, or 3 down and 2 back out. So that's 5 circles, and then you're doing it both ways. So you could do 2 large, 2 medium, and 1 small. That would make for 2, 4, 5, and then 5, 6 if you only do 1 coming out. So just base it on your horses. But see how he broke to a trot? Just base it on your horse's fitness. And if the small's too hard for them to stay in a lope, move the cones out another 2 feet, and you're doing a great job. But overall, I loved his form as far as keeping his body correct. And again, it should, you would have these cones a tick further out than the next set of cones. And then it starts with the large, and then the medium, then the small, and then back out to medium, and then back out to large. And the way you'll know if you did a full circle is I try to count it off. I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll go to the next one. And I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, then I'll go out to the next one. And I just try to count my quarter turns. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop, roll back, and then count it off again. 4 quarter turns, 4 quarter turns, 4 quarter turns. Back to medium, back to large. So again, one of each size. 1 large, 1 medium, 1 small, 1 medium, 1 large. Or at the most, 2 large, 2 medium, 2 small, 1 or 2 mediums, 1 or 2 larges. Just again, it depends on how hot it is outside, your horse's fitness, and all of that. But overall, you did great. I just would have liked to see him stay in a lope on the small. And remember, as you are in the large, you can sit up a little more. As you get to the medium, sit a little more on your pockets and soften your ribs and shoulders. and sit on your pockets more, but add your legs more. And then on the small, you really sit deep and add a lot of outside leg. Inside leg will keep the shoulder soft with your inside hand guiding, but you may have to bump inside hand, outside leg, or smooch every turn on the small, because the small is the hardest one. It's kind of like doing a sit-up and holding that crunch and then getting to release it. So the large is like the release and the small is like the crunch. So, but great job, and keep up the good work.